Welcome back to part 4 of our continuing series on the 6 pillars to thrive. Hi, I'm Brooke Lyons. A few years ago, I lost 50 pounds and finally got my life back. I've uncovered the tools that allowed me to keep the weight off and help hundreds of my clients also lead a healthy and vibrant life. Losing weight is only the beginning, and being happy and healthy is so much more than just a number on the scale. So join me as we discover how to thrive beyond weight loss. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. We're always glad to spend this time with you. Today, I want to encourage you to go back and listen to the other pillars because there's 6 pillars to thrive. Today, we're going to talk about number 4, so it's exciting because it's about connection.
Yeah, and if you want to follow along with us while we talk about these pillars, or you want to take a look at the other ones before we even speak about them, go to mybodybella.com and you can apply, find those pillars there for you.
You can apply. I like that.
Yeah,
you can apply. We're going to
apply.
send it to you whether there's no pass and fail here. Well, cool. So this is my favorite pillar. As I got older, I think, if you listen to the other pillars, we talk about tender stuff on here. And so, when we talk about the uniqueness pillar, a lot of the pillars have been developed from things that I thought were wrong with me. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't very outgoing and I didn't have very many friends, and I wanted to do things that nobody else wanted to do, like really just spend time with a person and doing things that were important to me, and where everybody else was flying all over the place. So those ended up being really valuable features about me and my life, and got me a lot of success in business, in my relationship, and with my kids. So it's because this is my daughter. So it's pretty cool to be able to have you, the experiment worked. She survived.
Or did I?
Or did she? It's debatable. But this is about connection, so that's why it's really cool that you're here. Because it occurred to me when I was looking at those wellness wheels. I love those things because they help us just kind of put some focus into religion and our money situation, our relationships. But I wanted to go a little deeper with all that. And that's my whole story of my life, deep. I want to be deeper. Mm-hmm. And so, anyways, I developed this connection feature, pillar, because if we're going to build a foundation, our connections with people matter, and our connections with ourself matters. Yeah. What do you think about connection when you hear that?
I feel like everyone needs connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks different for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked about how you were an introvert, so COVID killed you. It was so hard for you.
I was an extrovert.
Sorry, extrovert. That's
Wrong
my other child.
child.
That's my other child. But an extrovert, you were like, I need to see people. Mm-hmm. You were organizing distance things so that you could see people.
And I remember when everything shut down, so I was used to seeing everyone every day. I was involved in so much: senior year student council, intercity student council, choir, musical show choir.
You were running the blood banks.
Yeah,
you were doing
that was
all
one of
the
my things. And I didn't have time to have a job senior year, and I quite literally got a job during COVID because I needed that human interaction.
Right. And I mean, our son is a complete introvert, and he needed that interaction just so that he wasn't completely alone, or wanting to play video games because a lot of his friends are in video games, like other people playing. But anyways, so this 6-part series. That's why I want you to go back and listen to the other podcasts, because they all feed into each other, and there's not one that doesn't touch the other. Mm-hmm. So me expressing my uniqueness is also about my connection with myself. Am I constantly saying I'm not good enough, or I can't do this? Because whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Mm-hmm. It's an old Ford quote. So there's a couple of things, a couple of classes I teach. You can find that on the website too. But one of the things is to, all the negative things that you say about yourself, for the connection piece to yourself. Mm-hmm. What if you wrote down, take a day or two and write down every negative thing you think? When I started this exercise, it was pages. I had a lot of stinking thinking going on in here. Mm-hmm. But I knew that I needed to clean that up for you guys, because your kids don't do what you tell them to do. They reenact what they see from you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want that. And so anyways, I would start writing this stuff down, and then I would be like, so what do I want to feel about that? Mm-hmm. And it sparks my my funny bone right now to think like there's people watching going, you what? Like, why would you do that? But in my uniqueness, this is how I have introspection. Like I look at this stuff and think, well, how could I do better at that? Or what would bring me more joy? Like what do I not need to do anymore so I can have more happiness?
Yeah.
And so anyways, I started writing the opposite, right? So if it's like, I'm not good enough to do this, or I don't know, here's a new one because this is a new business. I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, well, of course you do, girl.
Well, I feel like people feel like that in general in life.
Yes, but then I'd say I don't want to screw this up. That is not a positive. But it's like when I do classes on
Double
this,
negative.
it's hard for people. Like now it's always small class when I teach this one because I have to be able to read through all their paperwork because you know that they're writing. So if it's like if they're overweight or not happy with their bodies, because you can be overweight and super happy with your body. There's no judgment there. Like you have to be you. In fact, I have a good friend that is overweight, and she's a influencer now because she still goes like her whole life is rock climbing and adventuring. And so there's product lines that are forming clothes for her. You're going to meet her in Dallas, the BDC, Megan. So she has recreated people's lives around you're okay with who you are right now. If you want to change that, that's a different thing because then you're living through like, I'm not good enough. I want to change this and I can't. But otherwise just – and now there's now clothing lines for hikers that are bigger girls.
Yeah.
That we should have always had that, but we didn't. So now we do. So anyways so just thinking about like how to make the positive because it's a training, right? When I was 19 and found Tony Robbins, I would be like, oh, okay, so thinking that's making bad things, like I never heard that concept before. But I would seriously sit there and go, oh, so I thought like, okay, like I'm fat. Well, okay, what do I really want? Not to be not fat. That's not what I want.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, okay, so I want to feel lean in my body. I want to feel alive. Actually, I don't even care how I look. I just want to like feel good.
Well, and that's what I feel like when, especially with the this healthy weight loss, is we talk about a lot about the other ways that you can get the pills, the injections, and all of that. And I feel like those focus on weight loss, and you like, of course, you want to if you're coming to and you want to lose weight, that weight loss is one of your goals, but it's not. It's like pushing everything aside and you kind of focus in, I want to be happy and healthy outside of this weight loss, which is also then the purpose of this podcast,
right.
is thrive beyond weight loss.
Yeah.
But like you really help people focus on the happiness within it and not just like you are more than just your weight loss, and that your weight loss involves so much more than just losing the weight.
And it's not just this temporary fix. This is why it's a multi-billion-dollar industry every year, is because people aren't teaching people how their body works. And I always say it's kind of like in jest. I'm like, I think the other companies are like, oh, you lost your weight. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Like everybody who's a client of mine has seen me do that because I think it is a business strategy. I want to teach you how your body works so that when you have a glass of wine, you know what to do around that so that it doesn't make your insulin pop up. It doesn't make your body take all that sugar and store it in fat for if you need it later on.
Yeah.
Because we don't have these starving days anymore. We just eat and eat and eat. And then with this connection pillar, it brings up a lot of connection with other people too. In fact, I think it's part of, we were looking at a lot of questions for today, so I don't remember which one we ended up with, but when connection, like I had a client come in and they were so upset because there was a lady who keeps bringing in muffins and cookies and stuff. It is her love language. God bless her. She's trying to connect with people with something she knows is amazing.
Yeah.
Because when you eat sugar like that, your hormones go woo, and you feel better. Like it gives you happy hormones. But then it also goes boom.
Yeah.
And then later on you have the guilt and the shame of, God, did I do that again?
Yeah.
But you don't want to hurt this woman's feelings because she's just spent all night, making stuff. And then we feel like we're pressured to eat it, like all these things. So am I into the question?
Well, I was going to say, the question was when, like with all the parties, this person has been going to a lot of parties and they're kind of stressed about the fact that they see all these desserts that are homemade and handmade and they feel the need to try it and they don't want to miss out if they don't try it, but they also don't want to eat it, which I can relate to because when I find out someone like handmade things, my grandma's the one who taught me how to bake. Like,
Yeah.
baking was with Grammy. And so there's that personal connection that I then to have the things I bake. So I don't want to offend someone by not taking the thing that they
Right.
bake. Because what if this is a memory they have with their grandma or with some loved one in their life?
And it probably is. Or
yeah.
at least just this feel good of like, this is a painful thing to say, but we all feel like we suck to some measure.
Mm-hmm.
But when that lady is cooking that food and thinking about how she's making people smile, like that's changing her life. It's changing her molecular structure.
Yeah.
And she goes in to present that. Imagine if you're like, I don't eat that. Like,
well,
it's just like you don't want to. Most people aren't even thinking about
Yeah.
this. This is why the podcast is fun because we can talk this through.
yeah.
But there's a couple things we can do. Do you mind if I share them?
Yeah.
So one thing is take the cookie, take the muffin, and be like, oh my gosh, I'm keeping this for later. I cannot wait.
Mm-hmm.
You never have to put that in your mouth. But the interaction has been, she made it, you were so grateful, you took it, and you said, I'm saving this for later.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never one to like teach you to lie or something, but there is just compassion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling her I'm not eating it.
Yeah.
And she might already know, like you might be the one in the office, everybody knows you're on a thing, and they're like, passing you, oh, you'll never eat that. I hate that. I don't want anybody making my decisions for me. It makes me a little neurotic. I'm going to say that. But I'm really sensitive to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather make the choice, and I would rather take the thing, and I probably would share it with you guys, actually, because sometimes when we go to these things, I'd like, hey, like mops, I'd like, hey, I'm not eating the cookie, but I'll take two and you guys never finished them. So I wasn't giving them back to you.
Like like when COVID happened and everything stopped, like I went back to baking. I had not baked in actually in years, and I was baking everything. And you were like, Tori, this like you can't be making carrot cake every week. Like you can't be doing that.
Oh, she made the most amazing apple pumpkin. That's your best.
Yeah.
Here we are talking food,
but the thing is, there's like also so then I started like looking into like different recipes. So like instead of using flour, like almond flour or like the paleo like recipes and that was
less
also
sugar.
something which was less sugar, and it was still like the process, because for me it was the going and baking and focusing on the measuring and all of that was a way to just kind of focus on something else.
Yes.
So
That's what we do.
yeah.
Yep. It's an avoidance feature, right? But there's sometimes when you're shut down and you're in high school and you're doing your classes from the computer,
You needed an
what
avoidance.
else are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
But we're not in that situation anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So we can make different decisions based on what we learned then, which is like what you reverted to during the shutdowns is probably something to look at too right now if it wasn't healthy or not creating a life that you really want to create. Because I actually created a new business during COVID or the shutdowns because you told me to go to the Dig and Save. It's this place that it's
I
where,
love it.
Oh, it's where all this unsold secondhand stuff from all the Goodwills and all the Salvation
Well, there's a
Armies
Goodwill
and
one, then
all
there's
the other ones.
the St.
Oh, is
Vincent
there?
one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
But no,
I want to know. But anyways, I walked in. She told me, Mom, you're stir crazy, so I want you to go to this place. And I'm like, I have no interest, baby. The kids go there because you got to dig on like bins of clothes, and they love it.
It's 50 cents a pound.
And so the kids, and especially like she'll cut up stuff and make new things out of it. So it's really creative. And I always, go to the Dig. But anyway, she told me I had to go for 5 days. And I went the first 2 days and I was like, I hate this. It's garbage. There's nothing but garbage in this place.
And now we have to limit her time.
It's true. It's true. The producers are laughing. It's true. Because on the third day, literally, and somebody bought this, I found this broken Santa. And he was a giant ceramic Santa with his head. It must have been like something in these bins. If you throw like a cast iron pan or something, it'll crack whatever it falls on, right?
Yeah.
So his head was still there, severed head from this.
It'd be like that sometimes.
But I had found, okay, so later on, I found this fur coat. And so anyways, I took the Santa because I was like, I had this rule that if I don't know what to do with it, I'm not bringing it home.
Yeah.
But this broken Santa, your dad was like, oh, that's what you chose to bring home. I'm like, I think I could just put a scarf or something, Well, then, lo and behold, not too long after, there was a fur coat, but it was really short hair, and I'm like, all those animals died for that? It's not landfill, man. I'm using it. I don't, and I go, oh, I'm going to decorate that Santa with it. So I made a whole line. I have a company called Happy Ecobella that I started during COVID because I was finding all these beautiful things that I made them, we made them into rustic, like snow people, like men. Kind of Santa related, but they're so beautiful because they have all that history on them.
Yeah.
And somebody loves the heck out of that. She was so thrilled when she found it. Most of them are smaller because I never, again, found a giant one like that. But after that 5 days, I was kind of hooked because I could see value in some things that were becoming landfill that I was like, oh, I can make this with it. Like there was a Bible that was completely waterlogged, but it was there and they couldn't sell it because it was wrecked.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I could decoupage that Bible.
Well, and I think that even you finding because the pillar we're focusing on is connection this time, is that finding those connections with those things, whether or not you may sometimes be the only one who sees that there's a connection between things, but you bringing that to light may help thousands of people. Even if it's just a couple, you're still affecting someone's life and having that connection connect to them.
And the freaky things about us are probably the things that are the most endearing, to be honest with you. And now we have classes every month at Happy Ecobella, all the stuff I curated, because I would pick like a certain, like there's a jewelry holder that I know we'll make one day with old grates from your oven, right? So they were being donated. So I was like, oh, that looks like a good grate to use. So we do classes now that feature that stuff because when women get together, it's a thing that if we go home with something, we feel like that was well worth time. It's crazy, but it's true. Like guys will go out and they'll hunt, and if they don't come back with anything, whatever. They just sat in their thing. They drank. They had some good food together. They had a great time. But we feel like we have to always accomplish, or always have proof that we weren't not accomplishing. I don't know. It's a thing. Think about that for yourself.
It's the need for external validation.
It is. And so we were talking about that on another episode. Like, that's a nice thing to have, but don't count on that. It needs to be, how do I feel about this? Check in with yourself.
Well, and something that I had to check in recently because in school, I didn't get horrible grades. I usually got very good grades. But then after COVID happened freshman year of college, I had no motivation.
Yeah.
And I was like, because when COVID happened, I was in some of my classes, they were like, you don't have to do your senior. You're like, you were going to be done in a month and a half anyways. Like, you don't have to do anything. And that was horrible for me to hear. But I was like, oh, okay, sounds good.
It took away all
so
your
then
fun too. Yeah.
Took away the motivation to do that. So.
Well, then you did your first year all sciences in your dorm room. Like you had a hard. Well, let's not. But also let's understand that every generation has these tough things they go through. That was your tough thing.
Well, and then
we all went through it.
Having to see all these people. So like, my class never got a senior a picture on the yard because we had to distance and we couldn't do that. And now I'm like, oh, I didn't even know they did that thing, and now they're doing that. So
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
those are the little things. It's the deep fundamental things that we learned, which were good.
Yeah,
like you learned a lot about who you were and what makes you happy, because we had to find those things every day, and find them in a different way. So I'm proud of you for how you maneuvered through that. Yeah. So back to connection. So let's just investigate. Like if you haven't downloaded the 6 pillars, they're all on our website on a pop-up. So as soon as that comes up, just put your email in and we'll send it to you right away. But having this, it's an invaluable tool. I've been using it for years and years. It was the basis of another membership I did for women who just needed to know that they had a way to spend some time to focus on what they need to do. Because the truth is, the stronger that we are, the more clear we are, the happier we are, the more we are, the better everything goes. And we are often, what is that saying? Happy wife, happy life?
Yeah.
It's not true. Happy husband too, but
happy everyone.
Right? And we can't always be happy though. Like there's going to be some sadness. There's going to be tough moments. But let's consider just pulling that information off so that every couple of months, every quarter, we can look at that and be like, oh, so this month I'm focusing on this. I want my connections to be stronger. We joined something called the Black Diamond Club, and we're loving it because they're reminding us, like we've always had relationships with other people, mostly with business, honestly, but they become friends. But then like our present game, we're kind of up in our present game because we just realized like a thank you card, like that's awesome to just let somebody know that they did a good job for you.
Well, no one gets real mail anymore. So
and that.
Receiving like a handwritten thank you card is a big deal.
But then, thank you. So we're just learning a lot. So, I mean, at 55 and my husband's older than me, we're always, if we look for it, there's an opportunity to always be learning and developing your connections, your connection with yourself, so that you know who you are and what you'll, part of this we'll talk about in another episode, I'm sure, is what do I say yes to? Because if it's something that's not serving who you are and your purpose and your uniqueness and all your 6 pillars, then maybe that can be a no from now on, We'll talk about best summer ever eventually too. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Thrive Beyond Weight Loss. We're always so glad you're here, and we'll see you next time for the next part of our series.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on the Thrive Beyond Weight Loss podcast belong solely to the host and guest speakers and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any associated organizations or health professionals. The content provided is for informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider with any questions regarding a medical condition or health objectives.